Alright guys, it's that time of the year again, one of my favorite times of the year. It's time for me to give you my picks for my top 10 favorite films of 2013. Hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here, and man, I could not wait to give you guys this video. First off guys, I'm sorry for the fact that this video is a few days late. I know a lot of you already put out your top 10 lists already. That's great, but I had a hard time putting together this list, guys, to be honest, because this was such a great year for movies. You know, it really was, just as last year was. You know, this year was just as good in my opinion. There were some really great movies that came out this year, and I love doing this at the end of every year, guys. So, well, without further ado, I don't want to waste any time. I want to give you guys my picks, but I have to mention a few things before I get started, just to, you know, make you guys aware of a few things. First thing I want to talk about, this list is my personal opinion, guys. Now, I know you guys know that. This is, you know, my opinion. In my opinion, these are the best films of 2013. These are the films that I enjoyed the most. These are some of the movies that I had the best theater experiences watching. And this is how I put my list together. I literally looked back at every single film I saw this year and I said, what are the films I enjoyed the most? And that's how I put this list together. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. Another thing I wanted to mention is there are going to be some movies that aren't on this list. They're going to surprise you guys. A lot of you are going to ask me, where's this movie? Where's that movie? I would like to read you guys a list of some films I didn't get a chance to see that I wanted to see, and I'm pretty sure they would have made my list. So here we go. Films that I missed this year. We have The Spectacular Now, Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, Inside Llewyn Davis, Lone Survivor, Her, Blue is the Warmest Color, Dallas Buyers Club, and Saving Mr. Banks. I didn't get to see any of those films because they were all in limited release. That really upset me, but hopefully I'll get to watch them soon. Nevertheless, I did get to see a lot of other movies, and these are my favorite films of the year. So, as always, guys, I have a few honorable mentions I want to give you first before I give you my picks. Don't worry, I'm getting to it. I know I'm building suspense, but with a great year like this, there's going to be some honorable mentions. So, first off, a few films that didn't even make my honorable mentions list. Films like Man of Steel, Thor the Dark World, Iron Man 3, The Conjuring, This Is the End, Don John. They didn't even make my honorable mentions. Here are 4 honorable mentions I have. I only have 4. First one is Kick-Ass 2. In my opinion, this is the best comic book movie of the year. I enjoyed this movie. I had so much fun watching it. I loved it, but it couldn't make my list. Next honorable mention is a film I had to watch on Blu-ray, and I put it as an honorable mention because I feel it's the most important movie of 2013, and that film is Disconnect. I love this movie, extraordinary performances, and a great message about cyberbullying and, you know, the negative side of modern technology. So that's why I love Disconnect. Next honorable mention is the only animated film I saw this year, and it's from my favorite animated film studio, and that film is Monsters University. I love Pixar. This film reminded me everything I love about Pixar, really. I've seen it multiple times. I enjoy this movie. It's heartwarming, beautifully animated. I love Monsters University. And I didn't like it when I first saw it, but then I've grown to really enjoy it. And finally, guys, my last honorable mention. This was the first best film I saw of 2013. I was sure it was going to make my list, excuse me, but it didn't. It's still a great movie, and it needs recognition. That film is 42. This was such an inspiring, uplifting baseball biopic of Jackie Robinson with extraordinary performances from Chadwick Boseman, Harrison Ford, great cast, very well-filmed movie, great baseball scenes. I loved 42. I wish it made my list. But unfortunately, I saw 10 films that were a little bit better than 42. So without further ado, let's get into my list, guys, and my picks for my 10 favorite films of 2013. Here we go, guys. As I did last year, let's start this list off with a bang. This is my favorite sci-fi film of the year. Number 10 is Elysium. I had so much fun when I watched Elysium. It was my favorite film of the summer. And Neil Blomkamp, you know what? This guy's on a roll. I can't wait to see what he does next. He does a great job directing this movie, had great performances. Sharlto Copley, in my opinion, is the best villain of 2013. Has a really great original story, great action sequences, and was very well filmed. I loved Elysium. Deserves my number 10 spot. It was the best action film I'd probably seen all year long. I really enjoyed Elysium. Such a great movie. Alright guys, coming in at number 9, a lot of you may be shocked that this film isn't higher up on my list, but you know what? I couldn't get it higher. There were 8 other better films. Number 9 is Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity. Gravity is without a doubt a visual achievement in filmmaking. It is one of the best visually looking films I've seen in my entire life. Without a doubt, it's going to win the Oscar for Best Visual Effects, and it's one of the most beautiful films I've seen in a very long time. You know what? It had a very well-written story, in my opinion. Sandra Bullock, George Clooney gave 2 great performances. I was completely entertained throughout this whole movie. Alfonso Cuarón did a great job directing this movie. Stephen Price, who did the score, best score of the year, in my opinion, goes to Gravity. I love this movie. I love the cinematography. Everything worked well for Gravity. It was such an intense thriller, and I loved it. So that's my number 9 pick. Number 8 is the most brutal film I had seen all year. It really is powerful. It's a powerful, effective movie. Number 8 is 12 Years a Slave. I wanted this to be up higher, but again, there were 7 other better films I saw this year that I enjoyed more. 12 Years a Slave is a movie that I literally felt messed up inside after I watched it. It is such an effective movie. It's probably the best film I've ever seen in regards to slavery. It's the best slavery movie I've ever seen in my life. It is such an accurate portrayal, in my opinion, with great performances from Chiwetel Ejiofor, Michael Fassbender, Lupita Nyong'o. It has, in my opinion, the best direction of 2013 from Steve McQueen. I kind of hope he wins that Oscar. I would love to see him win it. 12 Years a Slave is a movie everyone should see, even though it is really disturbing. And several of the very long takes in this film really messed me up and just amazed me at how this movie was filmed. And I love 12 Years a Slave. Excellent, really effective movie. That's number 8. Number 7 is this movie. Yeah, there we go. It's the sequel to that movie. Number 7 is The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. I don't know what it is with this franchise, guys, but I'm in love with it. I can't wait for the next installment. And The Hunger Games: Catching Fire took everything I loved about the first Hunger Games, expanded upon it, it made it better, and that's why it's probably a superb sequel, in my opinion. It's a superior sequel. This movie has a great performance from Jennifer Lawrence, who is just on the top of her game right now in Hollywood. I thought the story was a lot more exhilarating and intense, and it's a great survival story yet again, as was 12 Years a Slave. Great score from James Newton Howard. It has, in my opinion, the best ending of 2013, of a 2013 movie. I love the ending of this movie. My goodness. One of the best endings. And excellent action sequences. I love The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. I can't wait to see what's coming next. And, man, that was such a good movie. Coming in at number 6, guys, is one of the funniest movies I've seen all year. One of the last movies I've seen of the year as well. Number 6 is The Wolf of Wall Street. Martin Scorsese does it again with this hilarious, really, this movie just entertained me from the very first second this movie started. I was completely entertained. This is a 3-hour movie. 3 hours this movie is. And I still did not get bored throughout this whole entire film. That's due to good editing, very well directed film by Martin Scorsese, and an extremely well-talented cast with a performance from Leonardo DiCaprio, which is probably the best performance of the year. I hope he gets Oscar nominated. He better not get snubbed. It has, without a doubt, the best adapted screenplay of the year from Terrence Winter. I love this movie. I want you guys to see it. Please go see The Wolf of Wall Street. That's number 6. Alright guys, that's it. We have arrived at my top 5 of the year. And my number 5 pick is a film I had to watch on Blu-ray. And here we go, guys. These are the 5 best films I've seen all year. Number 5 is The Place Beyond the Pines. I don't know what it is with this film, whether it's the direction, the screenplay, or the performances. Every single time I watch this movie, it just, sucks me in and makes me feel really sad, This is just an extraordinary picture. It is very ambitious, I'll agree with that. But it has excellent performances from the cast. Bradley Cooper, Ryan Gosling. It has, without a doubt, one of the best original screenplays of the year. So well directed by Derek Cianfrance. It has a great message about the choices we make and how it affects everyone around us. That's what I love about this film. It has excellent cinematography, very well filmed motorcycle sequences, and great editing. I love The Place Beyond the Pines. Highly recommended. Great movie. Coming in at number 4, guys. This is that one movie. It's the most depressing film of the year. It's that one film that literally almost brought me to tears. And I don't think any film that I've ever seen in my life has ever done that, except for this movie. Number 4 is Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station is a movie, when I saw it, that one of the final scenes in the movie with Octavia Spencer, I literally almost broke down in tears. And for a movie to do that, it deserves to be on my my top 10 list as number 4. I was just so emotionally attached to these characters, and when, the crap hits the fan in this movie and everything goes down, it almost brought me to tears. That's why I love this movie. Michael B. Jordan gives one of the best performances of the year as Oscar Grant. This is just such a great depiction of that story. I'm not spoiling it. I don't want to. Has a great screenplay, very well directed by Ryan Coogler, and I just love this movie. It's such a great independent film, and I highly recommend it to you guys. It's my number 4 pick. Here we go, guys. Number 3. I'm getting into the top 3 now. Things are starting to get intense, as was this movie. My number 3 pick is one of the best thrillers of the year, and that film is Captain Phillips. Captain Phillips is a movie that literally had me on the edge of my seat from beginning to end. This was such an intense thriller. My number 2 pick is also a thriller, but this film was not as good as that one, but it's still such a great movie. Great performance from Tom Hanks, who is one of my favorite actors of all time. Paul Greengrass does a phenomenal job directing this movie. Barkhad Abdi was excellent as one of the pirates. And it was just such a gripping tale of survival, and that's why I love Captain Phillips. Great score, great film editing, and it was very well filmed, and I love the ending. The ending was excellent. So Captain Phillips, one of the best of the year, number 3 on my list. Alright guys, that's it. It's time for the top 2, my 2 favorite films of the year. I was so torn on where to put these films on my list. I wanted my number 2 to be my number 1, and my number 1 to be my number 2, but in the end, this is the order I went with. My number 2 film is a movie I saw. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10 when I first saw it. Now, I'm literally changing my rating right now to a 10 out of 10. It's a flawless film now that I've seen it twice. Number 2 is Prisoners. Prisoners is without a doubt not only one of the best thrillers I've ever seen this year. It's the best thriller of the year. It's also one of the best thrillers I've ever seen in my life. Hugh Jackman gives the performance of the year. I know he's going to get snubbed, so I'm saying it right here. He gives the performance of the year and of his career in this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal is excellent. Denis Villeneuve does a phenomenal job directing. The cinematography was gorgeous. The screenplay, one of the best original screenplays of the year. The score, oh my goodness, I loved everything about this movie. It's a flawless film in my opinion. It has a great message about how far we will go how far we'll go with our morals how far we'll go for the ones we love, basically. And that's why I love Prisoners. It had my mouth gaping in literally every single scene that I watched in this movie. I love Prisoners. It's a masterpiece of a film. 10 out of 10 for me. It deserves my number 2 pick. And now, it's time, guys. It's time for me to give you my favorite film of the year. This is the film. It's one of the last films I saw of the year on Blu-ray. And I can't stop thinking about this movie. It's a classic film. It's one of the best films I've probably ever seen in my life. Number 1 is Mud. Mud is a movie that is just such a relatable film. That's probably why it made my top 10. Well, that's probably why it made my number 1. Mud is such a classic coming-of-age tale that is just as good, if not better, than Stand By Me. This film has extraordinary performances. Matthew McConaughey is starting to really turn his career around. Ty Sheridan was excellent. I really loved the kids in this movie. It is so well directed and written by Jeff Nichols, and this film is, without a doubt, the most original film I've seen all year. And it has the best original screenplay of the year, in my opinion. An excellent score, one of the best of the year. Great cinematography, and a message about love. The theme of love in this movie is just so real and so relatable, in my opinion. That's why I am in love with this movie. I literally recommend it to every single person I've talked to in the last few weeks since I've seen it. And this film not only is relatable, but it also touched me and reminded me of my youth in ways that I'm not going to get into right now. But that's why I love Mud. It has a really exhilarating third act. It's heartwarming. It's intense in scenes. I love this movie. It's flawless in my opinion. Absolute masterpiece and the best film of 2013. Without a doubt goes to Mud. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 picks of my favorite films of the year. I want to know, guys, in the comments, what your favorite films of the year were. Let me know what your top 10 were, and let me know what you thought of my top 10 list. and I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for watching my movie reviews all year long. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed my list. I hope you have a great new year, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.